happy week 0, everybody, for who's listening. Welcome to the Pocket Jacks podcast. Joined by myself, Jack Collier, massive Notre Dame, ripping Notre Dame all season long. You're going to see a new shirt every single week. And joined by Jack Johnston, my other host. We are excited to bring you guys some college football insights, hot takes, laughs, whatever it may be. Every week we're going to be talking about college football and having fun doing it. Jack, can you introduce yourself? Let the listeners know what we're all about here.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm the other Jack, hence the name Pocket Jacks, and big Coug fan here. Ride or die with Washington State. Went to school there. Like Collier said, we're just here to talk ball, have a good time. Read the comments if we get
Yeah.
anything. If you guys want to talk about anything, let us know, and we're going to talk about it. But that's all we got for you guys, so we're ready to get right into
Yeah.
it.
We're here. We're excited. We outlined a couple things that we wanted to get going with. Week 0 is a little bit of a kind of weird week. Would you agree, Jack? That, I mean, there's not a lot of really big time games. Obviously, we've got one big time game with that conference game in Kansas State and Iowa State, but it's more about just kind of previewing the season. So we've outlined, what is it, 5 topics or so of what we want to talk about, and you can dive into, I guess, what the first one's going to be. Is it?
Yeah, no, like you said, week 0, the best part about it is college football being back, but it also hurts because the slate isn't quite as filled out as you'd like. So we're going to kind of talk some season-wide stuff, kind of starting off. We picked 10 or so teams that we kind of wanted to talk expectations, and the first one that I had listed down was Alabama. So Collier, you got any thoughts on what you're thinking about Alabama coming into this season?
Yeah. I mean, for Bama, I've got a couple notes here in front of me that I had prepped in advance to this. But to me, a successful season for Bama this year is you got to go to the CFP and you probably got to win a game. I mean, they have missed the playoffs for 2 years now. They didn't make it last year. They didn't make it the year before. Saban's obviously gone. DeBoer, you probably got to get it going here and make the CFP and win a game. And it's going to be tough to do, but I mean, their program is needing help. They lost to Michigan in the bowl game last year. Granted, there was maybe some second strings and everything out there, but I mean, you got to get to the CFP if you're Alabama, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I wrote down the same thing. I said at an absolute minimum, it's CFP. Their fan expectations are probably the highest in the country. Like you said with DeBoer, you're kind of the guy after the guy, and at Alabama,
Yeah,
they're not going to give you a lot of grace periods. So it's CFP at a minimum for me.
it's
I like
religion,
winning a
man.
game. It is, and I said Final Four is minimum is always going to be the expectation from the fans at
Yeah,
Alabama.
absolutely. What team you got for us next?
Yeah, so kind of starting off on the SEC track, I said Georgia, and maybe I can lead this one off. Looking at Georgia's schedule, it's brutal. They play Texas and Alabama, which is tough. I still think the expectation for them is to make the college football playoff and compete for an SEC championship. And when you're a team like Georgia with that talent, you get in the CFP, you can get hot, and anything can happen.
Yeah, I like Georgia. I like talking about Georgia this year because Georgia is kind of another one of those like Bama kind of style teams, very dominant runs. But it's getting to a point of like, are they still top 4? Are they still that dominant dynasty that they were a few years ago? Um, they didn't make the playoff when Michigan won the Natty. Um, they lost to Notre Dame last year in the quarterfinal. So I mean, to me, if they don't make the semifinal this year, then where are we talking about? Like with Georgia, I mean, they're not really that top 4 or so teams. There's always those few at the top that are outlined. But I mean, if they don't make a run here, they need to. I mean, they could not be as dominant as they used to probably be. But
Yeah,
you know they're going
and
to win at home. I mean,
Yeah, and the thing with Georgia too, they're kind of like Alabama where their fans, it's I don't want to say natty or bust, but it almost feels like it's natty or bust, and you go 2, 3 years without even being in the natty.
yeah.
I mean, coming from a Wazoo fan, I would dream to speak of this, but they start to get a little disappointed and impatient.
Yeah, their expectations are a little bit higher down there.
Yeah. And then another one that I listed down for the SEC, and I think this is going to be a team we're going to be talking about a lot this year, is Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Back-to-back semifinal appearances. Just getting better and better with Sark. It seems like the money's flowing in. They're good every year. Um, but to me, they can't really finish lower than they were the last couple of years. You gotta like keep doing what you're doing and build on what you're doing and advance this thing a little bit more. Get back to the national championship. I mean, I don't think Bama's been in a natty since 2010 with Colt McCoy against Bama, and they got their shit rocked. Granted, Colt McCoy got hurt, but I mean, got to get to a natty if you're Bama. Expectations are natty. You're getting better and better every year. You got to keep building on it.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I kind of I had the same thing listed down for Texas is last year they lose to Ohio State. They played them tough in the national semifinal, and then the year before they lose to Washington in the national semifinal. So I think we can all agree Texas is back officially, but they're back. But it's time for them to make the national championship. Like you go 2 years in the Final Four, and Ohio State was they were a buzzsaw last year, but the year before they probably going in thought they should have beat Washington. So you got to get over that next big game and that next big hump. But
Yep.
they got
Could
Arch at
not agree more.
QB. They got Arch at QB, and it's going to be a different
It's gonna
looking
be
Texas
exciting.
team. But I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and I think all those people down there are excited to see it as well. When
Another
that,
team,
what do you got? Oh, go ahead.
yeah, yeah, the other team I had listed out, and I think this is a team if you've been following some of the preseason talk that's getting talked about a lot is Clemson.
Yeah, excited for them. I mean, obviously everybody knows Cade Klubnik's back um, for senior year, right? Senior season.
Oof, that's a good question. Yeah, that sounds right. I feel like you've been there.
I
Maybe.
think I'm not positive on that. Maybe we could fact check that, but I mean, they're in the ACC, a little bit easier conference, I would say. Cade Klubnik's a stud. Dabo's been there forever. They got a great tradition at Clemson. Expectations got to be pretty high, I would say. I would think with, I mean, Klubnik coming back, it's obviously the star point that I've said multiple times. But they're loaded. They didn't really kill it in the portal, I don't think, but they didn't really need to. Dabo's got his guys, and they should be able to do what they did last year in the ACC, if not maybe a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah, and I just checked too. Klubnik is a senior, so that's big for them to get
Okay.
him back because
Yeah.
he could have been a draft guy. I mean, he's gonna be a probably most likely a first rounder next year. And like you said though, Dabo, he's never. I mean, he's starting to dabble in the portal, but he kind of isn't like some of those other schools. But he also has really high retention. Like he's able to keep his guys, and he's not losing them in the portal either. So
Yeah. Big,
yeah,
big in this era of college football, being able to keep guys.
yeah, and they it's hard to put like an exact win loss total on Clemson this year because they play LSU at home, which is a tough game. I believe they play South Carolina on the road. I might have to fact check that. And then you're still playing in the ACC. Um, lost an AirPod there, but yeah, I would be I'd be very surprised if Clemson doesn't win the ACC and isn't gearing up for a
Yeah.
deep college football playoff run. I don't think any of those SEC teams want to play Clemson in the college football playoff.
Yeah. They're also my pick to win the ACC.
All right, well, let's see. And then we're going to the defending national champions, Ohio State.
Woo.
And what I wrote down, beat Michigan. That's it. I don't think, I think there's Ohio State fans that might sign up for 9-3 and lose in the first round of the playoffs, but you beat Michigan compared to 11-1, and you'd take it deep. Like I'd be interested to
Yeah.
see if you ask their fans what they think about that.
Yeah, me too. Obviously still salty from last year, but hate Michigan or hate Ohio State. I think the expectation is you got to win every game. It's always win every game with Ohio State. They were disappointed when they lost to Oregon at Oregon in Eugene last year, early in the season. Took it out on them later in the season. Um, Obviously, like you said, reiterate that. Beat Michigan, got to. It's in Ann Arbor this year, I believe. So that would be a great way to kind of start retaining the dominance of the rivalry. Um, but also, the expectation is you got to win the Big Ten, right? I mean, you're Ohio State. I think as an Ohio State fan, as anybody within the program, you got to win the Big Ten. That's a given. Um, and make the Final Four. I think I mean, you won the Natty last year. You can't win the Natty every year. Realistically, though, you got to probably make the Final Four, make a run at least, and prove to people that you're here. You're going to be here every year. You got Jeremiah Smith for another year. I believe the quarterback, Julian Sayin, I think he's back for another year after this year too. So, I mean, maybe not this year, but next year those two could be pretty deadly if they have a whole year together. And obviously, Jeremiah Smith can't go. Julian Sayin, I believe, can't go either, but I'm not sure on that. So yeah,
Yeah, and the thing with Ohio State, and I cannot wait for Ohio State Texas week 1, but I think no matter who they're playing, they're always going to have the best player on the field, whether when they're on offense being Jeremiah Smith or when they're on defense with it being Caleb Downs. Like I think those seen a lot of polls, and I think you can make a strong argument those are the best two players in the country, and they're
yeah,
back. So you have those leaders. Like I don't see why Ohio State can't gear up for another push at the national championship.
yeah, probably just that like semi question mark at the quarterback position. Obviously a great player, great talent. But we're gonna see this year if he is that guy.
Yeah. And then the next team I want to talk about and a little preview. We will be seeing this team in person in October. Um, the
Oh,
LSU Tigers. What do your
LSU Tigers.
what do you think about
Yeah,
them?
I'm excited for them. There's a lot I think with that goes into LSU this year. You've got a quarterback, also senior, I believe, going into a senior season, and Garrett Nussmeier. You got a guy that's been doing it. He did it last year. You got a coach that is needing to win. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
he went to LSU to play in national championships, and Marcus Freeman beat him to it. So you got to win. I think you're going to be compared against Notre Dame for the rest of your career. Um, but I'm excited for the team. I think they've got weapons. I think they're a good team. I think they need to go to the CFP.
yeah,
Got to make the playoffs. Yeah,
yeah,
I think they're a great team. I think they're gonna have a great year.
yeah. I'm at the point with LSU too with this season. Like they got the QB, they got the talents, they got everything that they can want. Like there is no excuses. They've had
Yeah,
so much talent, and I don't think they've made the playoffs since Coach O and Burrow and Chase and Jefferson were out running around with the best team ever. And
yeah,
like,
that's probably it. 2019, right?
yeah, and LSU is the same as some of those other teams where it's like 8-4 is just not good enough there. Like,
No,
especially in the 12 team days, like LSU needs to be a top 12 team year in and year out. That's what their fans are expecting. That's LSU being good is good for college football too. So. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to preview it later, but Kelly, he needs to win this year.
It's
There,
time.
yeah, it's time. There's no other way to put it. You got the whole team this year. It's time.
What do you got for how many teams we got left? What are the teams we have left?
Yeah, so what we got left is I got us Oregon, Penn State, Michigan, and Notre Dame. So,
Okay,
I
starting
mean,
with Oregon here.
yeah. Why don't you get into Oregon a little bit for us?
Well, Oregon's always going to be good. It feels like with the NIL that they have from old Phil Knight, but they're very overrated. I mean, let's be honest. They win a lot of games, and they just never seem to win the national. They've never won a national championship. So you got to go. You got to go do it. At
Yeah.
some point, you got to go do it if you're Oregon. I think they're probably a playoff team this year. Dante Moore at quarterback. He's a pretty good player. And then I'm not really sure what they have surrounding him. But it's you got to go. You'll win a playoff. I mean, they got screwed last year for sure, but you got to go still win a playoff game, maybe make a run and you give yourself a shot at a national championship. I think the last national championship they went to was they unfortunately had to face Cam Newton. I can't remember what year this was,
Like
but
2014-ish, kind of.
that's kind of what I was thinking. Um, but yeah, you got to go play for a natty every year with Oregon.
Yeah, and
See if you
it's
can win.
I love Lanning. I think he's a great coach, but I think is this year 4, year 5 for him with a blank check in the NIL days, and they have not won a playoff game. Which obviously the change in the Big Ten, they stepped in and kind of showed. I don't want to say who's boss, but they went undefeated in their in the first season in the Big Ten, which is
Walked right into the Big Ten and said that we're here.
yeah, yeah, beat Ohio State, beat Penn State, and then obviously we all know how the playoff went, where they got a tough seeding, a tough draw as the 1 seed, which hopefully that's fixed now. So I do
Yeah.
empathize with Oregon a little bit there, where I feel like they weren't as, I think they were still a top 3 team last year, but
Yeah.
they lost a lot. I mean, they lost
So,
Gabriel, Jordan James, Tez
Tez
Johnson.
Tez
Yeah,
Johnson, he was a big guy for him, wasn't he?
yeah. I mean, they had studs, and I'm sure we all know Oregon's going to reload, and it's not going to be a talent issue. But it's time for Lanning, I think, to start winning some postseason games.
Yeah, it is his fourth year, and he's progressed every year. He got there in 22, and he went 10-3, and then 23 he went 12-2, and then 24 he went 13-1. So I mean, he's progressed every year. Um, they got to go do it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm a huge Lanning guy. Like I'll put
He's a
Lanning
great
up
coach.
against any other coach. Just he's such a great motivator and recruiter.
Yeah, I
Another
agree. I like him a
interesting
lot.
another interesting team I was looking at that people have been talking about a lot that are ready to gear up and make a run is Penn State. I'm
Yeah, I'm excited for Penn State this year. I mean,
yeah,
knocked them out in last year's playoffs as a Notre Dame fan, but a lot of people back. I mean, Drew Aller, Singleton, um, let's see what's the other running back's name, Allen.
yep,
Uh, they're returning 4 O-line starters. Um, they just need to get over that hump. Uh, they need to prove to everybody that they can win those big games. They should have a great team on paper,
yeah,
and I'm excited. Drew Aller's a stud. He's a big dude. Should have a
yeah,
great team. Let's go.
yeah. I mean, you could almost argue, and I don't know if I fully believe it, but you could almost argue Penn State is the best team on paper. And the thing that, like last year, I was not ever in on Penn State, but the thing that weirdly changed it for me on Penn State was when they lost in the Big Ten championship, but put up like 40 points against Oregon, and
Yeah.
they look great. So I'm like, I don't know. And it sounds like I remember last year they had Tyler Warren, but he's left. But they loaded up in the portal at receiver, especially. I believe against Notre Dame last year, their receivers didn't have a reception in the entire
Yeah.
game, which is crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they beat Boise State, which is a good win. It's a playoff win, but it's time to beat Ohio State in the regular season, and it's time to make a deep run. Seems kind of like a common theme.
Yeah. Penn State Penn State is really good at winning the games that they should win.
Yep.
But
Yeah, they
then
always beat
they play
Nebraska, Michigan State. They always beat those teams.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we got 2 more teams to go over before we move on to the next topic of are we moving to Heisman predictions after this?
Yeah, I'm down for Heisman. I had P4 conference
Yeah,
predictions listed
let's
too.
do.
Um, this next
We'll
team,
run through these next two quick.
yeah, this next one I think is a really interesting one. They've had a lot of change, a lot of media headlines, but Michigan, I mean, beating Ohio State last year like changed the entire perception on their season. They also beat Alabama in the bowl game, but I don't. It was second strings out there and stuff. But I don't know. I mean, it's great momentum going into the season. Like you finish beating Ohio State and Alabama, you're like, let's go. And then they obviously got Bryce Underwood in there, so I still think Sharon Moore has a lot to prove at Michigan.
So that's a good question. Do you think Sharon Moore is you don't think they love him already or no?
It's not that. I don't think he's hot seat or anything, but he walked into the roster with the team. Like he walked into the defending national champions at the time, and I mean, last year that was not a good season until the very end. Like they could barely throw the ball. Um, they're
Yeah.
getting beat by your Indianas, some other teams. So I'm just interested to see if how much better they get this year.
Yeah. I agree. I think they should get better than they were. Um Obviously there was the punishments of the Connor Stallions of the world that came out last week with all that
Interesting suspension.
extracurricular stuff. I don't know. Does that how do you think that stuff affects their play on the field this year? Does it change anything from a Michigan standpoint? Does it fire the players up? Does it fire the coaches up? I
It
don't
seemed,
really know.
yeah, it seemed like when it was all going down, it definitely fired the teams up because it was kind of like us against the world. But now, I mean, the suspension was, I think, is it week 3 and week 4, and they play Oklahoma week 2. So I'm sure you know that suspension. That was seems to be quite the coincidence. You don't get suspended when you have your biggest non-conference game of the year, and then let's see who they go play week 3 and week 4. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see if how much it really affects the team. It's definitely a lot for them to go through.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Moving on to the last team, Notre Dame, saving the best for last, of course. But should have a good year. I think every Notre Dame fan is excited for another year with Marcus Freeman, one of the most well-liked coaches in the entire college football coach base, I guess you could say. Uh, Returning a lot. I think they're returning about like 8 guys on the defense, quite a few O line. Um, really got quite a bit of talent coming back, but there's a big question mark at the quarterback role right now, and that's CJ Carr and Kenny Minchie. See who gets the nod on that. You obviously have Jeremiah Love to back him up in the backfield. Great house coming back at receiver, and then a couple guys that you snagged in the portal that they're putting out wide next year. So they should be loaded. Freeman will have them ready to go. It's just about if they can kind of really get through the first 4 or 5 games of the season when there's a lot of uncertainty to who's playing quarterback. But I'm hopeful that they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I Notre Dame. I think they're going to be solid. You know what you're getting on the defensive side of the ball, and that is going to be potentially the best defense in the country. They're kind of like some of those other teams, like an Ohio State. I don't want to say Texas because we kind of already know Arch, but the QB is a little bit of an unknown. And I think if they figure out the QB and can make it through those first 4 games, which are tough this year, then I think they're going to be gearing up for another run in the playoffs.
Yeah,
And
couldn't agree more. I'd love to see it.
yeah, I have a feeling we're going to be talking quite a bit of Notre Dame. Might just rule out a section. It's just Notre Dame.
Every week, Notre
Yeah.
Dame. Uh,
All right.
um,
Should we jump
okay.
into some predictions?
Yeah, I mean, let's go. Let's get through these quick. The first 4 conferences. I'll just give them to you right now.
Okay.
I got these written out. Kind of a hot take to start off. SEC, I got LSU. I'm rooting for LSU to win the SEC. Big Ten, I'm going Penn State. Um, Big 12, I'm going to go Kansas State. And ACC, going Clemson. Those are my power four.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, SEC, I went a little different. I went Texas, and it was just
Okay.
the reason I did that was schedule. They just got their toughest games I saw was at Florida, Oklahoma in the Cotton Bowl, at Georgia, and then Texas A&M at home. I think
Yep.
they can do that. Georgia and Alabama got tough schedules. ACC, I think everybody is picking Clemson. That's a bold take if you're not taking Clemson. Big 12 changed it up a little bit. I'm going Utah. I think big bounce back
Oh,
season for Whittingham. Maybe if this is a good season for Utah, could be Whittingham's last. They got Dampier, the New Mexico QB. Um, Big Ten,
wait.
I'm gonna.
Rising's not back for his 11th year?
I think they're looking for some eligibility. Maybe.
Trying to find a loophole on getting Rising back?
Yeah, Rising and his life insurance policy coming back for another year.
And then who'd you say for Big Ten?
Big Ten, I went with you. I went Penn State. I think it's another
Okay.
popular pick, but I just like them. They got Oregon at home. They got Ohio State on the road, which is going to be tough, and then Indiana at
Biggest
home.
game of the year.
Yeah, those are going to be that Oregon wideout. Give me Penn State. That crowd is going to be
Yeah.
unbelievable. And then I
Unreal.
also
Okay. And then,
I threw in a G5 if you want to talk G5,
yep.
and my G5's bold. Oregon State.
Yeah. Let's hear your G5, and then I got one as well.
Yeah, so I'm Oregon State, obviously biggest
Oh,
Pac-2 fan you've ever seen over here. But they don't they're not playing in a conference this year, so their schedule's interesting. I was looking at it, they play Cal at home off the bat. Then they play at Texas Tech, at Oregon back to back. If they can win one of those, they can win any every other game this year. Their only other tough games besides that is they have, I think, our first ever college football home and home against the Washington State
yes.
Cougars. So we'll see how
Going to be great,
that's
actually.
it's they're evenly matched teams, but Oregon State, I think they got Malik Murphy, I believe is his name, the Duke transfer. They
Yep.
shelled out big money for him. So Oregon State's they're trying to compete. It's bold, but that's what I'm going with.
All right. Well, and I'm going to keep it very simple. Boise State. I mean, they're good. They're good in their division pretty much every year. Obviously, had a great run last year with Genty. Give me Boise State. I think they're going to be good again. Got some guys. We'll see what they can do. Obviously, they got a little bit of a target on their back now, but that's who I'm going with.
Yeah. Yeah, the G5's it's always so tough to predict because we're predicting like the best team out of three, four conferences. So we'll
Yeah,
see,
exactly.
we'll see as the season goes along with that one. All right,
Do you
next up.
have three Heisman candidates that you're favoring this year?
Yeah, I wrote down four. Um, I had to change it up last
Okay.
second. Unfortunately, Mateer, with everything going on, I had to sub him down. Not worth the risk there. The first two that I got, they play week one. Klubnik from Clemson and Nussmeier from LSU, plus 750 and plus 850. I think that game's going to be awesome. It's just
Uh,
if you whoever wins that game is going to be instantly the favorite to win the Heisman after that, in my opinion. And then a
yeah.
two deeper that I went is Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. He's got all the potential. And then my personal pick, Drew Aller, Penn State.
Oh, okay. Wow. Hot take.
Yep, changing it up a little bit. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go get on the Penn State bandwagon this year, I think.
Okay. Okay.
What about
Well,
you?
I was very similar. I had Klumnik, Nussmeier, Mateer, which obviously I don't know. It's still got hopes, but it's like if he gets suspended, that's probably out of the picture. Um, and then DJ Legway at Florida. I mean, we saw Mertz go down last year and Legway step in, being the number one quarterback in the country coming out of high school, I believe. And he stepped in, looked really good. This will be his sophomore season. So hopefully him and Billy Napier can kind of put a little bit of something together. Obviously a tough schedule playing out of the SEC. Um, but He's a good player. He's kind of lower on my list. Obviously, I got Klubnik as my favorite to win the Heisman.
Okay, so Klubnik would be your official pick.
Klubnik is my official Heisman prediction for 2025.
I love it. So let's get on the other side of the fence. We've been talking positive, but maybe a little negative action here. Every year in college football, we know the overturn in coaching. You got any hot seats you're looking out for going into the season? I think we have a couple obvious ones, but maybe some
I
other
mean,
ones as well.
I've got a few. Um, I got quite a few, but
Well, I like it. Just
my
list them
big
out.
ones are probably Brian Kelly, LSU, Kalen DeBoer, Bama, because both of those places, football matters. Football matters a lot. It is faith, family football. And Miami, Cristobal. I got Sam Pittman, I believe is his name, out of Arkansas. And then two more I've got for you are Hugh Freeze at Auburn, another
Yep.
place that it's important to win football games, and it's really, unfortunately, just not really happening at the moment. Auburn is 5-7. They went 5-7 last season, and this is going to be this. They had four straight losing seasons. So, granted, Hugh Freeze is not there for all four of them. I don't believe. I think he got there in 22 or 23. I want to say from Liberty, but it's just not it's not a losing culture down there. They want to
No.
win just like everybody else down in that part of the country. Um, but and then Billy Napier, rounding it
Yep.
off with him. Tough schedule again, but playing out of the SEC, it matters a little bit more. And they haven't been really winning football games. So it's time
Yeah.
to do it for them. Billy Napier needs to get those guys rolling. Maybe it'll happen with DJ Lagway this year.
Yeah, like you said, those, I mean, LSU, Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, those are all proud fan bases in the SEC. They're just, not that they're all going 6-6, but they're just not going to put up with that year after year. Like, there's just too much money involved, too much everything else. If you're not winning in the SEC, they're going to find somebody who they think can. But for me,
Yeah.
we got one repeat. Obviously, number one, I think Brian Kelly. If he doesn't make CFP, I think there's no way LSU keeps him. Um,
Yeah.
then I got Lincoln Riley at USC. You kind of talked how
Okay.
Lanning.
So I heard a little something about Lincoln Riley is the reason they can't fire him is because they can't buy him out.
I've heard that too. That the buyout on him. Let me look it up real quick. Is huge. Um,
Yeah, which I mean would make sense, but I'm right there with you. They gotta get better if I mean they want to keep him around.
yeah, they're saying the buy. I'm seeing just on a quick Google the buyout's like 90 million. Um, And I kind of look at what you said about Oregon earlier, how Lanning has gotten better and better and better and better. I think Riley is the opposite. They've gotten worse and worse and worse and worse. And not that USC, you could maybe say is a blue blood, but recently they're not quite as proud as some of those SEC teams. But Lincoln Riley was supposed to be the savior for USC. They're supposed to bring him back into national championships, and that is not happening right now. So I don't want to if USC goes 7-5, I have a feeling $90 million is going to show up somewhere.
Someone
Uh,
will provide the 90
yeah,
million.
maybe Will Ferrell or some. The
Is
next
he a
one,
USC grad?
yeah, huge USC guy.
Uh,
The next one that I wrote down, and I actually like this coach, but man, last year was rough. Norvell. They were pretty much a broken leg against an FCS team away from being undefeated and in the playoffs. They have that injury happen. And then last year was maybe one of the worst reverse turnarounds I've ever seen. Like they were, where they go 2-10, and they were 12-0 the year
yeah,
before. Like they get pounded by
yeah,
Georgia, which is tough. Florida State, they have a great football history, and if they don't make a bowl game, they're going to be looking for a reason to get rid of them. That's just my take on it.
yeah.
And then
That's probably a good take.
yeah, it's just that was just such a rough season last year in the way. Like they were getting crushed by
Wild turnaround
everybody.
from from almost making the CFP.
And then the last one that I wrote down, this could be a hot take. I haven't really heard this name get thrown around a lot, and I know he's loved there, is Gundy at Oklahoma State. They have been bad. Like, they were the worst
Yeah,
team in the Big 12 last year, and I think they were like picked almost to win the thing going into the season. Like, I,
true.
he's been there for a long time. I don't know if he's really changing with the way that college football is changing. It's changing so much from year to year, and I don't want to say he's stuck in his old ways, but Oklahoma State better make a bowl game this year. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. Love Gundy, just like you. They love Gundy, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and you got to win football games, and it's not really happening down there in Stillwater. So, wait, is it? No, Stillwater's OU, right?
No, no, you're right. Stillwater's Oklahoma State because I think
Okay,
Norman's
okay.
OU.
Norman, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Um,
yeah,
what do
they
you got next?
yeah. So I think moving off of our hot seats a little bit, we did talk about playoff predictions. Do we want to do that, or we want to jump into
Yeah, I
bold
mean,
takes?
do you uh do you have I mean, I have 12 teams I wrote down, just not in
That's
order. I mean,
yep.
12
I,
teams
I,
that I think are going to make the CFP.
I did the same thing. I'm like, there's no way we're going to be able to see this out. So I just did 12. Got some hot takes in there. Got some obvious ones.
Yeah,
So let me hear
let's
yours.
roll through it. So I've got 3 SEC teams. I've got 3 Big 10 teams, 2 from the Big 12, and 2 representing the ACC. And then obviously the group of 5 with my Boise State selection
Yep.
from earlier. So we'll go with them first. Um, LSU out of the SEC, Penn State, Kansas State, and then we're going Clemson, Notre Dame, Oregon, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, Arizona State, and SMU.
Ooh, SMU running it back.
Very similar to last year. The SMU one was it was kind of between them and Miami, and I just truthfully don't believe in Miami. I don't believe in Carson Beck, so I went with SMU. Kevin Jennings is a stud. They did it last year. Run it back. Here we go.
Yeah, and SMU they got the money too. So
Yep.
mine I kind of did the same thing. Just first my 4 conference champions: Texas, Penn State, Clemson, Utah. When I was writing this down, I went to go write down Boise State, but then I realized I would just be contradicting myself. So I'm gonna go Oregon State, Oregon State, and then I went Ohio State, Oregon, LSU, Bama, Notre Dame, Arizona State, and then a hot take here, Minnesota. Had to throw
Wow. Yeah.
that's my
Boy,
Indiana
Paris,
2020.
baby.
Coy Paris, good schedule. You know they're gonna like the Big Ten or SEC team. Give me 10 wins in the Big Ten, you're in.
Let's go. I like it. Oh,
All
well,
right.
that's bold take. And that do you want to lead us off with bold takes? Is that going to be one of your bold takes
Yeah,
here when we
yeah.
move
I
on to
mean,
this next segment?
I probably should lead us off. And the way I kind of built this out is I did like a semi-bold, bold, very bold. Maybe
Okay,
could
okay.
maybe could have switched the order on this. My very bold take is Minnesota making the college football playoff. um, but then from there, we're gonna go. My kind of semi-bold take, something I kind of just believe in is I think Georgia Tech is going to make the ACC championship. I don't know if they're going to win it.
Whoa.
I like Haynes King. I like their coach. Kind of like their schedule. And I think the ACC, that second team, is about as wide open as it could be right now behind Clemson. Um, and then my other bold take, something we kind of already mentioned, is whether he's fired or he leaves or any other scenario, Lincoln Riley is not the coach at USC going into next season.
Whew.
So write
Wow.
him down, come back, make fun of me in the comments, whatever you got
Okay.
to do.
Okay. So I'm spitballing a little bit here, but I'm gonna go I'm gonna start on the other spectrum, the other side of the spectrum, and I'm gonna go with the semi-bold take being that Indiana's good again.
Okay.
They hit the over.
Okay.
I believe their over is 8.5. Um, as much love him or hate him, Kurt Signetti knows how to coach football. I don't think he's ever had a season under 9 wins. So I think returning quarterback, returning coach, uh, a little bit of belief maybe in the program. I think they're going to cover the over. I think they're going to be good again, right up there to maybe be on the verge of making the playoffs, depending on maybe who those couple losses are that they have. Um, my bold take is going to go, I'm going to go with kind of piggybacking off something I already said was Kansas State to win the Big 12 and to make the playoff. I think they have a good team. They got a lot of dudes in the portal. Seems like they're stacking up to make a run. Avery
I,
Johnson's there, Kleeman's there. I'm excited for Kansas State this year. I really
I,
am.
I love
Uh,
that in the
Go
Big
ahead.
12, pretty much any prediction for your conference champion could just be a bold take. It's that wide open of a conference. There's
It
just
is.
there's no favorite.
There's a lot of good teams in the Big 12. I think it might be my favorite conference for the year. It's so fun to watch. We're going to be talking about the Big 12 a lot. I have a
Yeah.
feeling there's always crazy games in the Big 10 going on. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for Kansas State. My very bold prediction, gosh, and this one's tough 'cause I didn't put a ton of thought into this. Um, but I'm going to say Michigan is going to win the game again this year. They're going to beat Ohio State. It's in Ann Arbor. They've already won 4 in a row. You're at home for the fifth. Why not?
I
They're going
like
to
it.
have a better team. I would love to see it happen personally. I think it would be awesome. And then we can start talking about if Ryan Day's on the hot seat again. We can
Yeah.
get him out of Columbus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I love the takes, and I was going to let the people know they're watching this. We're going to write this down. We're going to post it. You're going to come back in December and tear us apart. Like, this is week
Yeah,
zero.
oh yeah.
We're going to look back at some of these and be like, Minnesota won 5 games. What were you thinking?
Yeah, Kansas State got obliterated. Yeah, it's who knows what's gonna happen. That's why we love it. That's why we're doing
Yeah.
this, so we can sit here and talk about it every single week of what surprised us. Because let's be honest, a lot's gonna be very surprising. We're not gonna be right about 50% of the things we say, but hey, that's the fun in it, and that's why we're betting the overs on teams and bet Heisman champions and everything. So
Yeah.
I think that's all we have for kind of our season preview, right?
Yep.
And now we just want to move on to a little bit of week zero. I mean, week zero is exciting. College football is back,
Yeah.
but there's not it's not a crazy slate. We are privileged to watch a great conference game to start the year in Iowa State versus Kansas State in Ireland. It's
Yep.
going to be a great game. I believe the spread is 3.5 right now. Um, but it's going to be fun. I mean, Iowa State is a good team. They got Matt Campbell coaching them. He is 99-66 in his career. Made the Big 12 championship last year. Unfortunately, they lost to ASU and Kenny Dillingham, 19-45. Kind of got beat up there.
Yes, he was
But
rolling.
yeah, I mean, Matt Campbell's great. He's one of the
Yeah.
most underrated coaches in college football. 2022, he was 4-8, and they lost their 8 game. They lost 7 of those 8 games by one score. 2023, he progresses, gets better, gets them to 7-6. 2024 gets them to 11-3. He's been there for a while. He's advancing every year with them. It looks like this is year 10 with Iowa State. And he's been to 7 bowls with a record of 3-4. 3-time Big 12 Coach of the Year in 2017, 2018, and 2020. And he's the all-time winningest coach in Iowa State football history.
He's the
Let's
best
build the
coach.
man a statue. Come on, get him a statue.
Dude, it was their first last season, and fact check me on this if I'm wrong. First ever 10-win season in program history. Like, what he has done there is crazy.
Yeah,
How has he not
he's the
gotten a
man.
bigger job? Like, Iowa State needs to be thankful for Matt Campbell. He is great.
Yeah, I love him. He's great. But kind of getting into their football team now. They got, let's see, two transfers. East Carolina wide receiver Sowell, however you pronounce it. He's there to help him out. Townsend from UCF is there to help him out. Um, they have Rocco Beck, father of Anthony Beck. He was a West Virginia, New York Jet, and Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He's a great player, Rocco Beck. He's a game manager. He had 43 touchdowns, 17 interceptions last year, and he's really kind of one of those guys that's not going to beat you up too much. He's not going to maybe necessarily win you the game every time, but he's certainly not going to lose you the game either. Back-to-back 3,000-yard seasons for Rocco Beck. Absolute stud. And he's just a really good fit for them. I mean, they got a great defense, so you need just kind of one of the, you know what he is? He's Brock Purdy. He's a game manager. He's not going to make too many mistakes, and you got a good defense to back him up, which is really a recipe for success in the Big 12, especially with all these teams being so even. Um, but they did lose two really good receivers to the NFL. That's going to be tough to come back from. I mean, they're still going to have a good team. You're still going to be able to bring guys in, but those guys were studs and they meant a lot to this offense last year. They are returning 4 out of 5 O linemen, which is huge, and returning Carson Hansen, their running back, who had 752 yards and 13 touchdowns. Two really good tight ends with them as well that I'm excited to watch this year in Burkle and Brahmer. It's probably going to see a lot of like 11 personnel or 12 personnel, maybe get them both on the
I
field at the
like it.
same time because they're studs. Um, 39th offense last year. I think the question comes down to like, can they do that again this year? Missing those couple very explosive
Yeah.
receivers. That's kind of the big question mark. Their defense is going to be great, but I predict they're going to run the ball a little bit more, use a little bit more 11 personnel, use a little bit more 12 personnel. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. They were actually first they were the first ranked passing defense last year, which shocked me when I was
Wow.
researching this.
Good stat.
41st in scoring defense, 109th in rushing defense, and 51st overall defense in the country, returning 5 starters and led by John Heacock. So their defense is going to be good. They're going to keep them in the game. Uh, I'm excited for it, but this should be a coin flip game. Obviously, still got to talk about Kansas State here. Um, if you have anything you want to say about Iowa State before I move on to Kansas State a little bit.
Yeah, no, I mean that's just a I'm still blown away by that stat. The best passing defense in the country, especially in the Big 12, where it's literally just might as well be the air raid 12. Like everybody's just launching it 60 times a game, all game. Like that's a great stat. No, I'm a huge Matt Campbell guy. Like I think you can officially say he's the best coach they've ever had. Um,
Yeah,
and the week 0 game in Ireland, obviously, there's no better feeling. It's going to be college football's back. Boys are going to be buzzing. It's going to be great.
it kind of pisses me off though that with two great stadiums with Kansas State and Iowa State, and it's a conference game. Like, why are we playing this across the pond? Put a cool non-conference game over there and let these two duke it out in the States at these awesome legendary stadiums. That kind of reminds me, I had a quick little note about Iowa State Stadium that I had just learned the other day. It's called Jack Trice Stadium. It's built in 1975. It's 50 years old. And Jack Trice was the first African American athlete at Iowa State. They ended up
Cool.
playing Minnesota on the road. He had to stay in a different hotel and he got cheap shotted in the game, or so the story goes. He got cheap shotted in the game. They end up, I don't know if they won, lost the game, end up returning to Ames, and he died from the injuries from the game.
Wow.
And so it's been Jack Trice Stadium for 50 years. Pretty crazy story. Never had heard that before, but great stadium. Uh, cool, cool, cool
Yeah,
story. Interesting story, I should say.
very cool story. I think you hear that one on like a Iowa State game or something a little
Yeah,
bit
I had
more
never
often.
never heard that before.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I do agree, like with this week 0 game, Kansas State and Iowa State, I think both have a very realistic shot of making the Big 12. And they're going to look back and be like, well, if we just won that game week 0 after in
Yeah,
Ireland, like there's going to be no home field advantage there. And it's a huge game. Like these two teams, I might even add a hot take, the winner of this game's in the Big 12 championship.
I do not hate that at all. I mean, that's a very reasonable thing to say. I think these are two great teams. It's going to be a great matchup. Like I said, probably a coin flip game. Probably comes down to one possession. But let me move into Kansas State here, and then we'll each give our pick on the game, if that sounds all right.
Coley, what do you think about doing all the previews, then we just do our picks of all the games at the end?
Yeah, that sounds good too.
Okay.
So I'll quickly go through Kansas State side of things, and then we'll preview a couple more games and get some picks and get everyone out of here.
Yeah, sounds
All
good.
right. Kansas State, like I said, I'm excited for them. Great, great, great team, fun program. You got Chris Kleeman, who's 120 and 41 as a head coach, 48 and 28 at Kansas State. He came from North Dakota State, actually, believe it or not. Let's see, four national titles in 5 years at North Dakota State. Believe he held Carson Wentz, second overall draft pick. I think he coached him. Um, but little history on Kansas State, I guess, before we dive deep into this year. Um, from 1935 to 1990, they've had 3 winning seasons. That's
Three?
crazy. 3 winning seasons from 1935 to 1990. And then 1991, they hired Bill Snyder, Kansas State legend. And since 1991, they've had 26 winning seasons, 8 double-digit win seasons. Uh, Bill Snyder was a coach from 1990 to 2005, and then took a little break. Prince got in there from 2006 to 2008, and then Billy Snyder was back from 2020 or 2009 to 2018. Um, Absolute legend of Kansas State fans. And then you get Chris Kleeman, who's been there since 2018. He's done a great job being kind of what you talked about earlier, the guy after the guy, and he's lived up to it. So he has had 5 of 6 winning seasons. Um, the only let's see, only the ugh. In 2022 they beat TCU, who was in the national championship. If we all remember
Okay.
that,
Right.
beat them in the Big 12 championship in an overtime thriller. Uh, So I mean, they've been good since Clemens got there. He's definitely, kind of just carried on the tradition of Billy Snyder and winning a lot of football games. In 2022, he was 10-4, Big 12 champs, beat TCU. 2023, they went 9-4, and then last year they went 9-4 as well. They're returning Avery Johnson, who is an absolute stud, hoping that he can kind of get over the plateau this year. But there's like a few things last year where he'll make a throw and you kind of like, oh, like cringe a little bit, like holy cow, like, that's a little dangerous. So hopefully he can kind of iron that out. I mean, he played all year last year. He was great for them. They're returning Dylan Edwards, who came from Colorado, I believe, went to
Yep.
Colorado, was maybe at Kansas State last year,
Yep. He was
and
behind
then
BJ
he's
Gibbs.
returning again. Yeah, so him and Avery Johnson, backfield, believe they went to high school together, believe it or not.
Oh,
Maybe even junior high, which is pretty awesome. And then Jace Brown, wide receiver from last year, had 823 yards, 5 touchdowns. Garrett Oakley, tight end from last year, is back. And then they got, like I said earlier in the episode, they went and got dudes in the portal. Like they're gearing up to do this thing. Um, They got running back Antonio Martin from ULM. He's 5'9", 220. So this kind of is seems like their guy, their big bruiser. Dylan Edwards is super
Okay.
fast. He's going to be kind of the speedy running back. This guy's your bruiser. Brought him in. Brought in wide receiver from Texas Tech, Jaron Bradley, who's penciled in to be the starter, Caleb Medford from New Mexico, and Jaron Tibbs, who's also penciled in to be another starting receiver from Purdue. Couple O-line guys, one from Ohio State, one from Pitt, one from USC. Um, but this should be one of the better wide receiving cores for Kansas State since like probably Tyler Lockett. I
Yeah.
mean, they really went and got a few guys that it sounds like are going to be starters for this offense and kind of help open up the field a little bit for Avery Johnson. They were 85th in passing last year, so need to be a little bit better this year. Offense should be a little bit better, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be an exciting year for Kansas State. They're bringing back a lot. They got a lot in the portal. Great coach behind them. Uh, Excited to watch them in Ireland, week 0.
Yeah, yeah, Kansas State too. I kind of always had a soft spot for them because they were one of those teams, especially during the Bill Snyder days that you imagine, where they would get the JUCO guys, the unsung gems, and have their team would always outperform their talent. And now this year, they have talent. Like they have Avery
Yeah.
Johnson, Dylan Edwards, that transfer back that you mentioned from ULM, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards, that could be the best backfield in the Big 12. I think you could almost argue country. I don't know. I'm off the top of my head. I'm not thinking. Obviously, Aller and his running backs are great, but
Yeah.
I don't think Kansas State is going to be at a talent deficiency against any Big 12 team. I do remember last year you kind of talked about the occasional throw with Avery Johnson. They've also always had the occasional game. Like last year, they were rolling, and then they just go and get blasted by BYU out of nowhere, and you're like, I
Yeah.
thought Kansas State was
Hopefully
great,
that.
but if they can avoid that this year, I don't think there's. I think we're seeing Kansas State playing on that first weekend in the college football playoff. It's
Yeah.
everything's
Yeah.
ahead of
They
them.
should. Yeah.
Well, should we
We got a couple
jump
more
to?
games to outline.
Yeah, yeah. This is where week 0 gets a little hairy, but if you're a college football grinder like us, you will be watching. So I think next up we got, I believe on CBS, or no, I think this one's on Fox, but this is Fresno State, soon to be Pac-12 member, against the Kansas Jayhawks in a brand new, I think newly renovated is what I read. It's not a brand new stadium, but it might as well be on the inside. So the
Okay.
the line that I saw here was I have Kansas at -12 and the total being 50 and a half. Um, it's gonna be a fun game. I mean, Fresno State isn't gonna lay down. They beat UCLA a few years ago in the non-con. They're going to be a Pac-12 school. Like I think this could be a very competitive game. Kansas obviously has Jalen Daniels coming back, who feels like he's been playing for a long time. But I
Yeah.
Kansas was kind of a hot pick last year, and then they started off really bad. And then if you remember, they had that like they beat Colorado, they beat BYU, they beat Texas Tech, or they beat 3 teams in a row that were all ranked in the top 20. Kind of ruined their season, honestly. Like, so I still think Kansas can be competitive. I am interested to see this game, though. Fresno, I'm not ruling Fresno out either.
Yeah. I'm very excited. Like you said, that new stadium. Real excited for that. They really messed that up last year by having to go travel to Kansas City and play all the home games there at Arrowhead Stadium, but they made it work. Maybe the home field advantage wasn't there all season, but like you said, after that bye week, they started rolling a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and then the last game I have rolled out, and I believe this one is on CBS. I have it pulled up here. This is our prime time slot. Probably only 2 times we're going to see these two in prime time. Is we got the Stanford Cardinal at Hawaii. Um, Kind of what I wrote down is I think this is going to be a rough season for Stanford. Their coach got in a little bit of off the field issues and was fired March 25th. I don't know the exact dates of spring camp, but it feels late. Frank Reich, who is like a kind of an NFL coach, is coming in saving the pieces, being that Andrew Luck GM connection. They lost their whole team after the firing, so maybe they shocked the world, but Hawaii is a 2.5 point favorite here, just to kind of lay out how tough uh, the books are calling it for Stanford. You got anything on this game?
Yeah. Not a lot. I'm not highly invested in either side of that, but I will be taking Hawaii minus the 2.5 on that just because of everything that's happening uh, at Stanford. So I guess we can start with that. Start with that game and work backwards. My pick is going to be Stanford minus the, or sorry, Hawaii minus the 2.5 points.
Yep, I'm in the same boat there. Long trip for Stanford. Week 0, game 2, like one less week of preparation for a team that is brand new everything as of like 3, 4 months ago. I think Hawaii, I'd have to look into it a little bit more. I think they have some guys back there. I saw their over under season win total of 6.5. So they're projecting them to be a respectable Mountain West team. And man, I don't know if Stanford is even a respectable Mountain West team. So I'm going to go with Hawaii minus 2.5 here.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks like we agree on
Um,
that one. Um,
should we go inverse here and
Kansas.
go Fresno State, Kansas?
Yeah, let's do it, and then we'll finish off with the big one.
Okay, yeah, I'm Kansas minus 12. I actually do think this is going to be a good game, but I just think Kansas is going to have their QB is just really good. I think he's athletic. I don't know if Fresno is going to see a QB like him again. Um, Give me Kansas in the new stadium. Welcome week.
Yeah. I'm with you on this. Kansas minus the 12.5. Jalen Daniel Daniels
Yep.
back at quarterback. He's a stud. I think there's going to be a little buzz in the air with everybody being in that new stadium and seeing the blue wheat fields in the end zone. I'm sure we'll see Jalen Daniels in there maybe a couple times come Saturday. We'll see, but and then finally wrapping it off with the big one, Iowa State, Kansas State in Ireland. Like I mentioned earlier, it's kind of a coin flip game for me. Um, it looks like the Wildcats have lost two in a row in this series, both by one possession. And so, based on that information, with Avery Johnson coming back, this is going to be a great quarterback battle, great coaching battle. I'm going to go with Kansas State. Um, I don't love taking the minus 3.5, but for the sake of the show, Kansas State minus 3.5. Definitely not going to be my lock of the week, but yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, no, this game's going to be interesting. And I think the Ireland game, they're both going across the pond. No home team. I did a little looking into this, the last 3 Ireland games. Last year, we had Georgia Tech upset at the time, number 10, Florida State. We all know how that turned out. Not really an upset, but the year in between that, Notre Dame crushed Navy, just not the same level of talent. And then the year before that, Northwestern plus 13 beats Nebraska. So I'm looking and seeing in the conference matchups, dogs are winning outright. Give me Iowa State plus 3.5.
Ooh. Plus the
And
3.5. All
and
right.
I don't think we're doing dogs this week, but if we were, that would be my dog.
Okay. We're just going locks, right?
Yep. Let's go. Let me hear your
Yep.
lock.
Yeah, my lock of the week is just it's gonna be that Hawaii minus 2.5. I think you could go Kansas State money line for a little bit lower value, but given the value, the minus 110 odds, we're gonna go Hawaii minus 2.5 against Stanford at home.
Yeah, yeah. I struggled with this a little bit. I'm not going Iowa State account. Also wanted to just change it up a little bit so we didn't have the same picks. You know what? I like Hawaii too, but give me Kansas. I think I have it at minus 12 right now. I think that stadium's going to be rocking. Like the college kids are just going to be back. It's going to be 85, 90 degrees, brand new stadium. I think Fresno State's going to be a little outmatched. I think they keep it close, but give me Kansas by 14. I know it's only 12 and a half. I think they cover it. That's my lock.
Love it. Love it. Well, thanks to everyone who bared with us through the
Yeah.
first week zero and season preview of the Pocket Jacks podcast. Little rough going this week with not as many games to talk about. It's not really the format that we are really wanting to go for the rest of the season. Just kind of wanted to outline the season with a couple miscellaneous teams, talk about some Heisman predictions, talk about some playoff predictions, really just get some thoughts out there for this upcoming season and outline a couple of decent games for this week zero to get everybody I don't know,
There you go.
conditioned, I guess would be the right word for college football. So we will post the locks for each of us on Instagram every week. You feel free
Yep.
to fade us, which was probably be the best option if you're gonna do it. Um, but thanks for listening for everybody that did. Jack, you got any final concluding thoughts before we log off?
Yeah, if you're here listening, you're still with us. Thank you. We got to get some names for our fans, maybe fan, who knows at this point. But drop some stuff in the comments. Like if we're doing something that's bugging, you want to see more, you want us to talk about something, let us know because we're gonna be reading them. So that's all I
Yeah,
got.
absolutely. DM, comment, however you can get a hold of us. If you got our number, text us. Love
Yeah,
to hear the feedback. Uh,
we'll
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for week one preview.
yep. See you guys.